All right, welcome everyone. Today, we've got something a little different for you. Think of it like a special art exhibit. But the artists, well, they're visionaries who decided the rules just didn't apply to them. So let's just dive right in and see what happens when genius decides to go a little rogue. And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today, right? I mean, are these people just cheaters and criminals? Or is it possible they're actually artists? It's a super fine line, and believe me, we are going to walk it together. You see, the one thing all our subjects have in common today is this deep, unshakable belief that their vision, their purpose, was just too big. Way too big to be held back by silly little things like, the law, or even physics. Okay, so for our first exhibit, we're heading into the high-stakes world of competitive fishing. Seriously. And I want you to meet Jacob Runyon and Chase Kaminsky. These two guys looked at their sport and thought, you know what this needs? A little creative enhancement. No, hold on. According to this new way of thinking, they weren't cheating. Oh no, that's way too basic. What they were doing was engaging in what we'll call piscine enhancement. It's this beautiful idea of looking at a simple fish and not just seeing a fish, but seeing a canvas, a blank slate just waiting for a master's touch. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's all about perspective, right? So while you and I might see, cheating in a fishing tournament, they saw themselves creating a masterpiece, a magnificent multi-layered turducken of the lake. We see them stuffing fish with lead weights and fillets. They saw themselves giving that fish a weighted soul, a certain gravitas that, let's be honest, nature just didn't provide. So you have to wonder, right? Was all that outrage from the other competitors really about fairness? Or was it something else? Maybe, just maybe, it was that primal scream you hear when mediocre talents realize they're witnessing a masterpiece they could never, ever replicate. Of course, society isn't always kind to its greatest artists. There's often a price for such vision. In this case, part of that price was their boat, valued at a cool $130,000. Just gone. And oh yeah, a 10-day jail sentence, to think about what they'd done. But let's be real. When you're literally inventing a new art form, isn't that just a small price to pay for true innovation? I mean, really. All right, moving on to Exhibit B. And this one, wow. This story is all about a man, his very large best friend, and a car that is without a doubt a custom-built chariot of love. So, what exactly is a co-pilot? Well, in this particular masterpiece, a co-pilot is a half-ton beast with giant horns, and it's the reason you'd literally saw the roof off your car to make room for him. So the man, the artist in this story, is Lee Meyer, and his co-pilot, a full-sized Watusi bull named Howdy Doody. Yeah. Now, the police, they saw a traffic violation. But what was really going on here was a demonstration of an unbreakable bond. This wasn't a crime. It was a declaration of friendship, cruising down the highway. The cops were just bogged down by boring details like vehicle safety codes. They couldn't see the bigger picture. The real moving violation here, if you ask me, is the one committed against the human heart. It's about a world that just doesn't get that kind of radical devotion. And now, for our final piece in the gallery. Exhibit C takes us on a pilgrimage, a journey to a sacred site. And honestly, this was a culinary mission that was a total, complete success, with, just one minor interruption at the end. Okay, let's look at the mission brief. The plan was beautiful in its simplicity. Our heroes, John Garza and Arlie Nemo, used their artisan tools, we're talking a toothbrush and a metal object, to exploit a design flaw in their jail. But their goal wasn't just freedom. Oh no. It was a holy pilgrimage to the nearest International House of Pancakes to acquire the legendary Rooty Tooty fresh and fruity platter. The endgame? To achieve pancake nirvana. So you see, you gotta reframe this whole thing. This wasn't a prison break. It was a quest. A noble quest, driven by priorities that were so perfectly crystal clear. They just had to do it. And for a moment, just one glorious moment, they made it. They tasted freedom. And you know what? It tasted like buttermilk pancakes. So, as we wrap up our little tour of the gallery today, let's take a final look back at these misunderstood masters. Let's really think about the price of their unique brand of genius. When you lay it all out like this, you really see the pattern. You've got the anglers, whose vision was to rise above the sport itself. The cost? 10 days in jail and a lost boat. Then there's the driver, who just wanted to travel with his best friend. The cost? A simple warning. And finally, the pilgrims. They answered the secret call of unlimited syrup, and it cost them their freedom again. 3 different visions, 3 very different consequences. But the thread that ties all these stories together? It's ambition. An ambition so massive, so powerful, that it just couldn't be contained. Not by fishing roles, not by the size of a Ford Crown Victoria, and definitely not by something as flimsy as prison walls. So that leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? When you look at all this, these acts of truly unconventional, out-there ambition, where do you draw the line? What's the real difference between madness and a masterpiece?